Warning, the following you are about to hear contains mention of child abuse, death of an animal, sexual assault, death of children, torture, and other things of that nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, I'm Erica the Millennial.
Hello, I'm Angie the Gen Z.
And we just wanted to say thank you all for joining us this Wednesday. I'm honestly so excited to listen to whatever story Angie has ready. I'm excited to record the episode too. We just kept telling our sister about it. Basically all last week at work. I was also bugging Angie about it every single day too as the whole weekend progressed. I was like, Angie, do you have the story ready? Angie, do you have the story ready?
Yes.
Angie said,
yes, I do.
no, you would not. You would lie. You would say, what would you say? You'd say, I'm working on it.
Yep, and I did work on it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
I mean, so I didn't lie, technically.
Technically, you did not lie.
Okay. Loser.
Anyways, you got it. You got everything ready. Okay. All right, then. So, Angie, do you want to tell us what story or stories you have, or what are we doing today?
Okay, so I have 2 stories planned out, but I'm going to make Erica pick out a story. I'm not going to say the title, so I'm going to make her choose between the number 1 and 2.
Oh.
So pick.
I get to choose?
Yeah,
you get to choose.
You get to choose.
Well, girlie, you got to give me more description. What do you mean 1 or 2?
Okay, 1. Oh, I don't know how to describe. One's about a clown, kind of. The other one is about this, like, creature that you see at night.
Oh, gosh.
Which one do you want?
Let me think. 1 or 2? Just pick whichever one. Are you going to tell me which one's 1, which is 2?
Oh, what the first one is about the thing you see at the night. I don't know how to really describe it without giving it away.
Okay.
And then the second one is about the clown.
About the clown? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I pick number 2, me lord.
Okay, special.
I'm holding up a 3.
Okay. The Shrek reference.
Yeah.
Okay, so the story.
Wait. Before. Question. I know this is random.
Okay. Ask.
Do you think we can fight this day? Like, random day. I know. Random. But
Oh my god.
do you think we can fight this clown off? Because there's some days where I'm just like, I'm ready to knock anyone out. And other days, I'm like more passive. But,
Okay.
would we be able to fight this thing?
So, I'm gonna give another hint. It's kind of like a demonic entity.
Oh, so we would.
And it has like kind of like powers.
Girl, we would get.
We'd get killed.
So the clown would get a flawless victory.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It would also get a brutality, a fatality.
Oh yeah, a brutality, of course.
A brutality, fatality.
It wouldn't be quick. It wouldn't be quick either.
So there's a chance I can get at least 1 hit. So it wouldn't be flawless.
Well, no, it wouldn't be. No, because. Well, I'll just tell you the story. But like I'm just saying, my answer is no. I don't think we can beat it.
Your answer is no. My answer is I got some holy water in here somewhere.
I don't think it's that kind of.
You said it's demonic.
It is demonic, but not like that. It's described as a demonic.
So it's human.
Thing. It's not human. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm confused. You gotta let me tell the story first.
Outworldly. Well,
it's not really outworldly. You just have to listen to the story and it'll make sense.
Okay, all right then.
Okay, so
go ahead then.
The story is called Laughing Jack. It's
Guess what?
What?
I've heard of this.
You've heard of it? Oh.
I just wanted to see what you were. I haven't. No.
I kind of got excited. I was like, really? I'm so proud of you for that. Now I'm disappointed again. So this is one of kind of like one of the OGs of creepypasta too, from like what I've seen and remembering. There's like a tier list.
So this was like pretty early on in your childhood exploration.
Yes, I was not really traumatized by this one because I didn't really care for it, or like for me it wasn't that scary just personally.
Did you?
But it was super scary.
A little bit when the killer clowns were out
No, because that was way before the killer clowns. I was like, how old was I? Well, I was like already turning into like a teen that time. And when I started like finding out about creepypastas, I was like barely double digits, like 10.
Oh, okay.
10, 9, around the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think I was good.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Go ahead.
Okay, the story is about Laughing Jack. Okay, so basically, it's Christmas Eve, right, in London, In the 1800s.
Oh, it's a British clown.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it has a voice.
Okay.
I guess it does have a voice, but...
Sorry, keep going.
Okay. And in a small house at the edge of town, there lived a lonely 7-year-old boy named Isaac Grossman. Isaac was a sad child with not a lot of friends to his name. While most children were spending time with their family and eagerly looking forward to opening presents that were placed underneath a beautifully decorated Christmas tree, Isaac spent most of his night alone in his cold room. Like, he lived in the attic, basically.
He was Harry Potter.
A little bit.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, but there's a plot twist.
Okay, go ahead.
Isaac's parents were very poor, actually. His mother was a strict crow of a woman who stayed at home and schooled Isaac, so he was homeschooled. So he had no escape from that abusive household, because he was abused.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's why he's considered lonely, because he had no friends. And his father worked long hours down at the London harbour to support his family. Although a large portion of his earnings went towards purchasing and consuming copious amounts of alcohol at the end of his shift.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes he would come home drunk after being thrown out of every bar in London and just shout at his wife, Isaac's mother. So he witnessed his parents always in an altercation.
Okay, so he was basically raised in an abusive household.
Yeah.
He was abused himself as well, right?
Yeah. So
already, it's not good looking good.
So occasionally, it would escalate to like physical violence, and he would beat her severely. And then when he was done, he'd force himself upon her in a drunken sexual rage.
Oh, okay.
As it so happened, this particular night was one of those occasions on Christmas Eve. Isaac he just remained quiet, basically, quivering under his soiled bed sheets until the screaming and loud bangs subsided. Once poor frightened Isaac was finally able to fall asleep, he'd dream of what it would be like to have a friend and play with. So maybe he could laugh and be happy with the other children of London. Luckily for little Isaac, Christmas Eve marked a big change when his abysmal loneliness caught the attention of a guardian angel, who then crafted a very special gift for the sad little boy. As soon as the sun rose on the Christmas morning, Isaac opened his eyes to find a strange wooden box sitting at the foot of his bed. With eyes widening in awe, he stared at the colorful handcrafted box, wondering who had left it. He was not used to receiving presents, especially toys. What little Isaac did have were ones that he had found abandoned in the streets, or like washed up in gutters. So basically just toys that he found.
Basically, okay.
So Isaac scooted up to the foot of his bed where the box was placed and picked it up with his hands. The box was painted in a beautiful, colorful style, with carvings of happy clown faces on the side. There was a tag on the box that simply read "For Isaac" on top of the box. It was kind of like engraved.
Okay, so what I kind of pictured, kind of like a jewelry box? Like
not
a wooden
really.
jewelry box?
It's what's it called? Jack in the Box.
Oh,
basically.
Jack in the Box. Okay.
Yeah. So he squinted his eyes and tried sounding out the words that were like on the box as well, besides his name, and it spelled out or he read out Laughing Jack.
Okay.
Laughing Jack in a Box. That was his name, Jack.
Ooh, okay.
The clown's name. Okay, so Isaac had never heard of a Jack in the Box.
Well, yeah, because he was basically at home all the time, right? And he wouldn't even like get to see all the toy stores around there. So he didn't even know.
He was a very isolated young lad.
We never had a Jack in the Box either.
I've never seen a Jack in the Box in real life.
Really?
I've never seen one.
Oh, one time we were at Target. This was when you and Nano were little. It was right next to the register, so I grabbed it and
Should have winding it.
Nano was in like the where you put your children there.
Nano's our little brother, by the way.
And then he started winding it, and I knew it was gonna happen.
You're evil, you knew.
But I wanted to see what was gonna happen to you. I knew it was gonna happen, but I wanted to see the interaction.
Yeah.
And yeah, he kept going. He was so funny. He was like laughing at it. He was all like, "Oh, it's a toy." He was little. He was like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
He was little.
He was a toddler.
Yeah. So he was like cranking it, and then it popped out. It popped out. He got scared. He jumped. He got scared. I thought he was gonna cry. He started laughing after. I'm like, wow, what a weird kid. I thought he was gonna cry. I was like, oh my gosh.
Your joy like disappeared. You wanted to see him suffer, huh?
No, actually, because I got what I wanted. Because I actually wanted to see him.
That's surprising.
Get scared. I wanted to see him get scared, and I
he did get scared, but like.
But I'm honestly glad he didn't cry, because then I'm pretty sure my mom would have gotten me in trouble.
You're right.
Yeah, so that's I am pretty. So yes, I mean that was a win-win. I did. Not the way I was scared. Funny. I didn't get in trouble.
No, it was funny to you.
Yeah, I got what I wanted.
Okay, so special. Okay,
you can continue. It was a little box. It was
this box is not that little. It's kind of like medium.
Okay.
So it's like a decent sized Jack in the Box. Anyways, his mind spun with curiosity as he like grasped the box's metal crank and began to wind it as the song "Pop Goes the Weasel" chimed in rhythm with the cranks. As the song came to its climax, Isaac sang along with the final verse, "Pop Goes the Weasel," but nothing happened. So Isaac thought it was broken as he placed the box down back on the edge of the bed and shuffled back across his small dusty room to his dresser, where he changed out of his soiled sleepwear and into his usual tattered clothing. So soiled, I'm guessing he like pees himself or wets the bed.
Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed.
Yeah,
when you said he was hiding under his sheets, because
that's very common.
If he got scared, he had his accident. He didn't want to move because of what was going on.
Yeah, it's sad. I'm sad now. Oh, it's so sad. I'm sad. I don't know. It's fiction, but it's so sad.
Yeah, right. It's fiction.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm kidding. Yeah, it's fiction.
What do you mean?
I'm kidding. It's fiction. Okay.
Good.
Aw. So, anyways, after changing into his clothing, he suddenly heard a rattle, and he turned around to look at the box. And without warning, the top of the box swung open, and a parade of colorful smoke and confetti bellowed out. And Isaac, like he just rubbed his eyes in like belief. He started like playing with his own face, like trying to wake himself up, thinking it was just a dream. Because he never experienced that. Heck.
Wow, that was delayed.
That was
very delayed.
I don't know how
I would have been kind of upset.
I would have been scared actually. Like, that was a little scary.
I'm like, wow, you're making me wait for smoke.
Well, the smoke, it was like a thick fog as it like covered the room, and like once it like started to like disperse, out stood a tall, thin, multicolored clown man with bright red hair, a swirly rainbow-colored cone nose, so it's like an ice cream cone, but it was like swirly.
Oh, okay.
And feather shoulders, like a feathery, like a boa.
Oh, he's fabulous.
Ah, yeah. Girly pop.
He's fabulous.
He's girly pop. And at the top of his... The feathers also were on top of his, like... Not just on his shoulders, they're just like... It's kind of like, like a scarf, like a boa.
Okay, yeah.
It was just like all over his like arms and like neck, basically. So, and he wore just a colorful clown suit, like the generic colorful clown suits, like my Roblox character.
Okay. Alright, I was imagining it. I was like, whoa.
No. Just a colorful clown suit. It's like rainbow.
Okay.
Pride. Okay, the techno-colored clown spread his arm excitedly and announced, "Come on, come all, whether big or small, to see the best clown of them all, the one and only laughing Jack in the Box." So Isaac's eyes lit up immediately, and he was like, "Who are you?" And the colorful clown stepped down from the bed because he was standing on it. He was kind of like a genie. He was in this like kind of like small box, and then he popped out all of a sudden. He was like this grown.
He was on the bed with his outside clothing?
Well, he was inside the box the whole time.
I guess.
He's clean, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, so he's tall? Or is he short? Because what I'm imagining is not a tall guy if he's standing on the bed.
He's like
from a medium-sized box.
Decent sized. He's like a genie.
Oh, okay. So he must have grown.
Yeah, so he just
Coming
like
out,
he disappeared.
Grew.
He disappeared out of the box in real life. The smoke.
Okay.
Okay. So, sorry, lost my place a little bit. So Jack began to talk again after there was like a pause of silence, and Jack, he said I'm your new friend for life, basically. I'm magical. I never get tired of playing. I'm a whiz at the accordion, and I adopt and develop your own changing personality, in other words. So Jack, he emulsifies, kind of? Am I using that word right?
I don't know what that means.
He kind of, like, copies the owner's personality.
Oh, okay. I get
That's
a
a big factor in the story, okay? Remember this for later on.
Okay.
So, in other words, he was saying, whatever you like, I'm gonna like. So, like, yeah, he just adapts. If you're a happy child, he's gonna be a happy clown. If you're a sad child, well, he's still gonna be, like, kind of happy, but he's gonna be, like, down to your level, so he doesn't make you uncomfortable.
He matches your energy.
Yes. So,
basically,
his job is basically to, like, protect neglected children.
Oh.
Because, like I said earlier in the story, a guardian angel came. Isaac's guardian angel, I assume. And, like, placed that present there on Christmas Eve. When he was asleep.
I get that.
Yeah.
Or Krampus. Was it Krampus?
Maybe.
I'm just kidding. I'm just assuming because this is a creepypasta.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he's an evil clown. And you said we cannot beat him.
Well, not right now. Right now, he's good.
Okay.
Like I said, his task is to protect lonely and abused children.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But changes later on. But, like, you'll get to know why.
Keep going.
Okay. So Isaac looked up at the mysterious clown and, like, he slittered out. He was like, "Oh, we're friends?" Because he was confused. And I think Isaac was, like, 8 or so.
Oh, he's a little boy. He's
a little boy.
He didn't know what was going on. Okay.
And, like, well, he was still, like, an innocent little child, so he didn't really know. And he was just confused and, like, kind of scared. But, like, he felt like this energy. He was like, I can trust this man.
He was probably just so excited that somebody was willing to be his friend.
Yeah.
After being so neglected and alone and,
like, just not loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, what? So anyways, Jack, he kind of, like, cocked his eyebrows up and he was like, friends, we're best friends.
He said, oh, we're besties.
Yeah, because Jack was especially created for him. That's what he said. I was especially created for you to be your not-so-imaginary friend. Because only Isaac can see him.
I was going to ask if he was the one who could see him.
Yeah, so Isaac, like, his jaw dropped and he was like, that's cool. But, like, you know, like, he didn't really understand what that meant. Okay. Like, not so imaginary friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, Jack laughed and he was like, hey, do you want to play a game of I Spy?
I can just imagine Jack's laugh. Let's play a game of I Spy.
I think his voice would be creepy. Oh, you think it'd be creepy?
Well, actually, at this point, he's trying to make the kid like him.
Yeah, so it's kind of a happy story. It's supposed to be happy in the beginning.
Okay, so right now, what I'm imagining is I don't think that his voice is creepy right now because he's trying to get especially little boy to trust him, especially after I'm assuming he knows that his life kind of sucks because he needs him as his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming he knows that the little boy has had a hard life. So I think he's trying to get him to trust him. So how else are you gonna get a little kid to trust you, other than being nice to them and not trying to scare them to death?
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so Isaac grinned from ear to ear, and he was like, "Really? We can play games?" And of course, he was gonna agree to it, but then he suddenly realized, "I can't," because he has to go downstairs soon for homeschooling with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack placed a hand on Isaac's shoulder, and he gave him, like, a warm smile, and he said, "It's okay. I'll be back waiting for you here for when you get back." His little box, I suppose. And then Isaac returned the smile as he looked up at his new friend. Just then he heard his mother's shrill voice calling for him downstairs. That's when Isaac turned back around to Jack and said, well, I gotta go, so I'll see you after when I'm done, okay, Jack? And then he began to head towards the door, and Jack smiled, and he said, absolutely, kiddo. And then he called back to him. He said, oh, Isaac. And Isaac looked back, who gave him a wink and said, no, Jack gave him the wink as he said, you should wear that smile more often. It suits you, because Isaac never really smiled. Of course, because of his home life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
So I'm saying, the story kind of makes me sad. It makes me want to cry a little bit.
Really?
And I'm not that, like,
emotional?
I'm not that type. Well, I'm emotional, but, like, not because
of children.
Yeah, especially children. I hate children.
Stop. Why would you say that?
I hate kids. Okay. Okay, anyways, back to me not hating kids. So, all day, Isaac told his mother about the amazing, colorful clown man who came out of his magical box that appeared on the foot of his bed. His mother, however, did not believe a word of it. Finally, he persuaded his mother to follow him upstairs so she could behold Laughing Jack for herself. They walked up the stairs to Isaac's room as he swung open the door to show his mother. And Isaac, of course, he looked up at his mom and he was like, look. He was all excited until he stopped as he looked back to his room and there's nothing there. That's why I'm saying not so imaginary. Because only Isaac can see him, not his parents.
Okay, so it is an imaginary friend.
Kinda.
No one could see your imaginary friend other than you.
It's a physical thing. It's just that the parents are not allowed to see. So he just hides, I guess.
Oh, okay, I get that. So, yeah, so not so imaginary. Because he is a real being.
Yeah. He is, but like...
And he's not imaginary.
Yeah, but it's only for the kid.
But it's only for him to see because he's the only one bonded to him, I guess.
Yeah, so... He scanned the room that contained neither the magical dancing clown man nor the mysterious wooden box. Isaac's mother was not amused at all, and she gave Isaac like a glare. Like, she was upset. She was like, you wasted my time, huh? The glare was so menacing, it made his knees weak and his stomach sick. Like, he was scared now.
He was scared she was gonna hit him.
Yeah. And that's exactly what she did. She smacked Isaac. She smacked him so hard across the face that his eyes began to tear up.
Wow.
And his lips began to quiver because he was gonna cry. But he didn't. He held himself. He held his composure as his mother began to yell at him. Like, she began to say, "Oh, you're a stupid, insolent child. How dare you lie to me about such childish idiocy?"
Mm-hmm.
And who would want to be friends with a useless worm such as you? You shall remain in your room for the rest of the evening, and shall receive no dinner. Now, what do you say, you ungrateful wretch? And then Isaac managed to swallow the lump in his throat,
mm-hmm.
and muttered a small reply, which he said, "Thank you, ma'am." His mother glared down at him for a moment before leaving the room in disgust. And before closing the door, or afterwards, he kneeled over, burying his face on the side of his bed, and just began to cry.
Okay.
And then, after a little bit of crying, he heard a voice behind him. It was Jack. Jack reached out. He was like, "Oh, what's wrong, kiddo?" And he looked over where Jack was now suddenly sitting beside him on the bed because he was knelt down over crying. So Jack basically put his hands on Isaac's head and started ruffling his hair, and he explained to him that he was hiding because he cannot let his parents see him, otherwise they wouldn't let him play with him anymore.
I guess that's true.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to.
Who would want a clown to be in your kid's room?
Just that shows up.
Especially a
it just shows up.
Especially
a grown man.
8-year-old child.
Supposedly a grown man, but he's ageless because he's just this mystical being.
He's immortal.
Yeah, he's immortal basically.
Okay.
That's why we can't win in a fight.
We wouldn't. Okay.
We wouldn't. We can't kill him.
I mean, I guess.
But yeah. So he wiped away his tears. He wiped away Isaac's tears before continuing. He said, "Look, kiddo, I'm sorry I had to hide. But I'll make it up to you because tonight we can play games and have tons of fun because Isaac is going to stay locked up in his room." He's basically grounded.
Yeah.
So after saying that, Isaac looked up at him with a vibrant smile and silently nodded. That night, Laughing Jack and Isaac played so many fun games. With a wave of his hand, Jack made all of Isaac's tin soldiers spring to life and march around the room. So Isaac kind of made his own toys as well.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, that's why tin soldiers, I'm guessing.
Oh, he crafted them?
Yeah, from things that he just found.
Okay, well, I mean, that makes sense.
It's creative, little boy.
What else are you going to play with if you have no toys?
Yeah.
And then since he had time to himself, I'm pretty sure he probably just made his own toys.
Exactly, so
So that makes sense that he would have tin little soldiers.
Yeah, so Jack, like I said, he waved his hand around, and he made all his little figures move around the room. They kind of sprung up to life.
Toy Story.
Kind of,
right?
Kind of.
Okay.
But yeah, kind of. But you can see them now.
Right. Right. Okay.
So Isaac was amazed as he watched his toys move around his room on their own. Then Laughing Jack told Isaac. He began to tell Isaac spooky stories. But Isaac also began to tell spooky stories. So it was like a little like story time.
Oh, so like sharing. Still sharing each other.
And then that's when Isaac asked if Jack was a ghost. But then Jack explained that he was more of a cosmic entity of some sort.
So it's kind of like it.
Kind of.
Because it was an alien, right?
I mean, yeah.
He came from outer space, and then he just kind of shows up as like your worst fear.
Yeah.
And everybody feared clown, so he came up as a clown.
Yeah. But Jack is supposedly good right now.
Okay.
Well, he is good right now, not supposedly.
Okay.
But yeah, at the end of the night, Jack reached into his pocket and pulled out an assortment of delicious candy for Isaac. Because he didn't get dinner that day. Or that night. And Isaac was like filled with ecstasy. Help me! Ecstasy, there you go.
He's filled with candy, that's what he was filled with.
Yeah, he popped all the colorful treats in his mouth. He was excited.
Didn't even leave a crumb. He's like, you don't want some or nothing. He didn't ask. He just.
Well, I don't think he can eat.
Oh, the clown?
Yeah.
Probably.
But like, he was so excited because this was the first time he was tasting something this sweet.
So he's never had candy before?
Yeah.
From what I'm assuming?
Never.
And now he had candy?
Yep.
On an empty stomach? That hit him hard, huh?
Probably did. Probably, I don't know.
That probably must have hit him hard.
Probably. So, I think so, yeah, because this is here. Isaac had so much fun laughing. So, everything kind of, like, just began to look up for him.
Okay,
so he became a little bit more happier. Well, the abuse didn't stop, but, like, he had a friend to go to at least to, like, comfort him.
Yeah. Well, I guess he kind of had something now worth
living for.
Yeah.
But until the incident that occurred 3 months later. It was a pleasantly warm and sunny day in London, which was a bit of a rarity since...
Is it probably always, like, dark and gloomy?
Yeah. It was, like, 1800s, too, so... I don't know why. It's just always dark and gloomy.
Just assume it's dark and gloomy.
I'm assuming, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So... Yeah. With the help of his not-so-imaginary friend, Isaac was able to finish his chores early and was allowed to go outside and play for a bit. So the duo were outside in the backyard playing pirates when Isaac spotted the neighbor's cat sneaking into their garden. So Isaac, in while playing, he pretended to capture the cat as an enemy. So he like grabbed the unexpected feline, who began to struggle. Like, you know how, like...
Oh, like
he was just, like, started, like, twist around, yeah. Because the cat was uncomfortable.
Like, when kids just snatch it up and then, like...
Yeah.
The cat tries to fight back.
Mm-hmm. So, his grip on the feline was pretty hard. And he kept on, like, squeezing around the animal. As the animal, like, fought back.
Struggled.
So, so I'm assuming... Well, not assuming. He kind of squeezed the cat too hard. Which, like, squeezed the air out of his lungs and made the eyeball pop out. The cat.
So he crushed the cat.
So he crushed the cat, basically.
But he was playing.
Yeah, but, like, you know how, like, kids are? They're so rough with cats and, like, animals and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So he was, like, squeezing him. And then he basically heard a snap. And then the cat went limp with the eyeballs, like, just hanging out of its socket.
Okay, so
he killed the cat.
For me, these are, like, starting signs of a, like, psycho killer. Because, you know, he grew up in a...
You're onto something.
Because he grew up in an abusive family and an environment. And then he has an imaginary friend. It's a little creepy, right? Because who has a clown for imaginary friends?
Mm-hmm.
And then he sees a cat, like, minding its own business. He goes over there, starts fighting it. Or grabbing it, right? He wanted to play with it. And then the cat starts fighting back. So for him, he's like, why are you fighting back? Stop it. And he starts, like, holding on to it harder and squeezing it. And then he kills it.
Probably. Or, like, you know how, like, parents of newborns, when they get frustrated and, like, shake the baby?
Oh, I guess. Yeah. So I feel like he just wanted kind of, like, the cat to stop struggling. So he's just so used to violence to get results.
Yeah.
For him, using violence, you get results that you want. So he kind of just wanted that.
Basically.
But he ended up killing the cat.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really sad.
That
Honestly,
sad.
I would just leave the cat alone. I don't know why he wanted to go play with the cat. Well, maybe because he doesn't have any toys, so he's like.
Also, he was a child.
Cat.
He was like 8.
Children.
I know, huh? This is why I hate kids. Don't look at me like that. I know. Okay. Anyways, don't look.
Go.
Okay, so
continue.
Isaac suddenly let go of the cat once he heard like the snap and like the cat stopped moving. But he heard the snap, so he got scared and like let go of the cat as he watched it fall on the ground. Like its lifeless body just like made a loud thud, and he stared at it in disbelief until he started bursting out laughing. So
he was scared at first, and then
he just started laughing. It was comical.
Clicked in him. He's like, oh.
It was kind of like he enjoyed it.
So it is a psycho killer. Psycho killer.
That's what I'm saying. You got onto something.
Psycho killer.
You just have to continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Isaac began to laugh, and then he exclaimed, "Wow, I guess cats really don't have 9 lives." As he continued to laugh, he was laughing so hard that he started crying. That's how comical it was to him.
Huh.
So, laughing Jack just looked at him, and he was like, "Okay," and he started laughing a little bit too. He was like chuckling a little bit.
Jack is like,
he was like, "Oh,
so this
yeah."
is what you like.
He was like, "I guess," but yeah, Jack was like, "Yeah, but we don't want to get in trouble if your mother finds your neighbor's dead cat in her garden." So Jack kind of stopped laughing as Isaac was like, "Oh no, you're right. We just have to like throw it away back into the neighbor's yard. They're gonna throw it over the fence, basically."
Okay, get rid of the evidence.
Yeah, back into the neighbor's yard. How traumatizing.
That's sad.
That is pretty sad. So Isaac began to panic as he grabbed a nearby shovel and picked up the broken cat body.
Why use a shovel when you already killed it? You already had it in your hand and you killed it. And why you grab a shovel? It would be faster to just throw it over with your own hand after you already killed it.
I don't know.
Okay. I guess he didn't want to add any more evidence to it.
I guess.
Right?
No, I don't know. Can you find fingerprints on a dead body?
I don't know.
Like a dead pet body?
But that has fur. I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. See, so it's like, what's the whole point of grabbing a whole shovel? You can find fingerprints on a shovel.
Then you're right. Probably had blood on it too.
He's too
He's
young.
a child.
He's too young to be thinking about this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, well, I'm not saying it's okay, but he was a child. But at the same time,
that does not make it okay, though.
That's sad. But he was abused, so that's what he thinks is right. But still, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Continue.
So yeah, he basically like got the shovel and like chucked the cat over the fence to the neighbor's backyard. He left it there, and they quickly went back inside into Isaac's room. And about an hour later, there was like an ear-piercing screech. It came from his mother, actually, who was yelling his name. She was yelling at him to come back downstairs. So I'm assuming they found the body.
He was caught.
So Jack and Isaac looked at each other, but neither said a word, as Isaac went downstairs alone to face his mother because Jack can't be seen.
Yeah.
And then he began to tear up.
He was giving himself away. Why would he do that?
I know.
Just keep straight face and say, "No, that wasn't me. I don't know."
He's probably crying because he's upset that he got caught. Now he's upset that he's gonna get like punished.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably more upset that he was gonna get hit.
So Jack was upstairs waiting for Isaac, and yelling could be heard before Isaac came back into the room crying. And Jack asked, he was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And Isaac tried to explain that he was trying to basically tell Jack that he was telling his mom that Jack was the one that basically killed the cat. But since the mom doesn't believe that Jack is real, she just got even more upset.
First of all, he goes out there and kills the cat, and then he tries to blame it on Jack, his homie.
Yeah, basically.
Wow. Jack, if I was Jack, I would have been upset.
I mean, Jack loves him, so.
Oh, I guess.
His best friend. I'd be pretty upset too, but still.
I would be upset. That's kind of toxic, though.
That is kind of toxic.
Kind of toxic. You know, you have somebody that loves you and you throw them under the bus for something that you did, and you just expect them to be okay with it, even if his mom can't see Jack. But Jack's name is dirty now.
Yeah, but nobody knows Jack exists except still, Isaac.
His name is dirty now. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Okay, so Isaac continued. He said that, yeah, she got upset because she knew, or supposedly she thought that he wasn't real. So because of that whole ordeal, she decided to send Isaac away to a boarding school. And Isaac told this to Jack, and Jack basically came to the conclusion that he had to go back into his box.
Oh, okay.
And
Jack can't go with him? Someone else can see him.
Jack cannot go with him because it's a boarding school. I'm assuming it's strict.
Oh, it's
boarding school for like delinquents.
Okay.
Because he killed a cat. So yeah. So I don't know how
he was caught. 4K.
Yeah, because it's the 1800s. But at the same time, if the cat was just thrown over the fence like that, I would assume that it was my neighbor's kids as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, Isaac was like, yeah, you gotta go back into the box. And Jack was really upset about that. And Jack was like, I can't come out until you, like, come back. And Isaac was just trying to reassure Jack and say, I'm gonna come back soon, don't worry. And yeah, Jack went back inside his little box, and he was like, you gotta promise me you're gonna come back. And he was like, yes, I shall. But for 13 years, he didn't come back.
Wow.
Because he was sent away.
He was so, well, yeah, he's... So wait, he came back when he was like 20 something? 18.
I think. 13 plus 8.
13. Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah.
Wait. 21 years. 21 years.
I can't do math.
Angie.
I can't do math quickly.
I had to count.
I'm sorry.
I think it's 21 years. Yes. Well, so he was a full-blown adult by the time that he came back. And he abandoned Jack. So first of all, he's out here blaming Jack for a murder he did not commit. Basically. And then he abandoned Jack in his box.
Yeah.
For 13 years.
Yeah, it's because Jack can't come out unless Isaac is there. So, after being, like, released from the boarding school, Jack just stayed in his box waiting for his best friend to arrive and come back for him. And, like, over the years, Jack was able to see what Isaac was doing.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna go with it.
I don't know.
I was trying to think of, like, what do you mean? Like, did he visit him?
I'm guessing, like, it's like a hologram. I don't know.
Okay.
Like a security camera?
Okay.
No, but, Jack was able to see all of the events that happened, that occurred. And let's just say that Isaac didn't grow up to be a good person.
Oh, in the boarding school, he was, like, a bully, I'm assuming?
No, he grew up to be a serial killer and a kidnapper.
Oh, see, I knew it. When I heard all this, I was like, when I heard all the beginning, I just knew it. Serial killer. Psycho serial killer.
Yep. His victims were usually people in his neighborhood. So, like, he moved out already and, like, lived in a house by himself.
So he
was a member of society. Basically,
so
he was like
he
a
left
working
for 13 years. He did not come back for
He didn't come back. I'm assuming he forgot.
Because he was busy killing people.
Yes, basically. I'm assuming once he got out the boarding school, he started killing. So maybe he got out at like 18.
Yeah, I'm assuming because once you're an adult, I'm pretty sure you're done with all that.
And then he left. He didn't come back. So Jack was just left there to just like rust and get dusty over the years. And Jack was kind of sad. He was waiting for his owner to come back. Because Jack's only purpose was to protect Isaac. Isaac didn't come back. And months on months, he just waited. And then, well, Isaac's parents still lived there. But they never came upstairs to the room, so he had no interaction. He didn't hear anything. Well, it was just pure quiet.
He also couldn't interact with them if he wanted to. Right,
right.
He could only come up when Isaac's there.
Yeah. And, well, he was able to hear them, but, like, all he would hear is they're fighting.
Okay.
So that, and also being lonely. Also, because remember when I said that, Jack, his personality is based on the owner.
So he's a reflection of
Yes.
Isaac.
So, over the years, his bright, vibrant colors began to fade into like a monochrome blur of pitch black, white, and gray. Because of Isaac.
Okay.
So
I get that. I get that.
He went from a happy clown to like this evil demonic creature over the past 13 years because he was emulating Isaac's personality.
And Isaac was
grew
a
up evil. Yeah, basically. So one night, after 13 years of him just growing there all dusty, Isaac's father came home drunk and got into an argument per usual with his wife. And again, it escalated pretty physical. And once again, however, this time she didn't get back up because Isaac's father had beaten his wife to death. And, of course, the father was caught and he was sentenced to death by hanging because it's the 1800s.
Right.
In London. So, with both his parents dead now, that meant that 20-year-old Isaac inherited the dusty old house that he spent his earlier childhood in. Laughing Jack was quite surprised when he heard his old friend's footsteps walking up the stairs to the attic room for the first time in 13 years. However, it was not the reunion Jack was looking for. Isaac looked different. Not only was he older, but he also seemed to possess the odd, grim look on his face. No longer was he this hopeful, curious young boy Jack first met all those years ago. Jack waited for Isaac to release him from the prison that he was kept waiting in for so many years. But still, Jack's box sat there untouched and unnoticed on the shelf in the corner of a room, with all the other dusty, unwanted knickknacks. Isaac had completely forgotten about his old friend. Dismissed as some sort of early childhood fabrication. Surprisingly, this made Laughing Jack feel nothing. He was hollow. 13 years of waiting and disappointment left the monochrome clown void of sorrow and self-pity. Jack remained in his box, colorless, without emotion. The next day, Isaac went off to work at his job as an upholsterer. So he repairs stuff, repairs furniture.
Yeah.
So he was repairing the furniture for the people of London. So Jack again waited in captivity, and hours later a drunken Isaac returned home and stumbled up the stairs to his room, but this time he had brought a friend. A female friend.
A lady friend?
A lady friend.
Lady friend he was thinking of killing. Because he's a killer.
Maybe. Okay. You just have to listen. But yeah, he brought her back from the bar that he was at. And from what, Jack's description, that she was really pretty. She had blue eyes and blonde hair. And a smile that could melt hearts. Laughing Jack's attention was drawn to the guest that Isaac brought, and a lot of thoughts had occurred in his head. He was basically he kind of grew jealous.
Oh, okay.
He was upset now. He was like, "Oh, a new friend? You can abandon me, but you can't get a new friend."
Oh.
Basically. So Jack thought to himself, from within his hellish confinement, Isaac and his lady friend were now sat down on the bed as they chatted about life, Isaac made jokes about the weather, just basic things like that, as they both laughed. They were just having good chemistry, I guess.
Rubbing it in his face. Rubbing it in Jack's face.
Yeah. And Jack was pretty upset about it. Of course. I feel bad for Jack.
Well, yeah, because he's been neglected for so long.
Yeah.
He's a real being, So basically, he was kind of neglected by Isaac.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the way that his parents neglected him, because he was never physical with the clown, but he just, emotionally, he was never there. His parents were never there. So he kind of reflects on the way he was brought up.
Mm-hmm. And, so Jack just sat there in his box, kind of watching this whole ordeal. He was pretty upset. He was watching them, in envy, as he watched their interaction. And Isaac and the girl were now looking deeply into each other's eyes as they leaned in for a kiss, locking lips with a passionate swirling of tongues in one another's mouth. I'm sorry. Okay, anyways, I'm sorry. Me being silly. Anyways, Jack was confused. He was like, "What's happening?"
Jack's like, "You never did that with me."
Yeah, basically, he was perplexed. He was like, "I've never seen that before." He was confused about this display of affection, because he had never seen a kiss before either. He has never been kissed. He's never seen a kiss. Why does he need to see a kiss? He's like this magical being with just one purpose in life, and it's just to protect kids. So he was kind of like an innocent child himself.
Oh, yeah.
So he watched as the kiss grew more intense, and Isaac began to run his hand along the girl's thigh up her dress. But, however, his guest just brushed his hand away, and of course Isaac didn't like that. So he was still persistent. And the woman, of course, took great displeasure because he kept on placing his hand up her skirt, basically, and trying to, like, take off her underwear.
So he wanted something more.
Yeah.
She was not into that.
Yeah, she was, but, like, he was being too forceful.
Okay.
So she pushed Isaac away before delivering a hard smack across his face, which angered Isaac even more. As he glared at the woman, his once drunken passion turned into boost-fueled anger. So the woman noticed that, like, dark look in his eyes, and she got nervous before Isaac spewed out with rage and called her a stupid whore before smashing his fist into the girl's face. Jack? I know, huh?
Okay. So he's beating...
Yeah,
he's beating women now.
Yeah, because he can't get what he wants. He's like a child. A man-child. Can't get the toy that he wants. Ew. We hate men.
Yes.
No, we don't. I'm kidding. We hate those men.
Yes.
No, but anyways, Jack, his eyes widened as he witnessed this whole ordeal. The long streak of red liquid like began gushing out of the girl's nose, and Jack kind of questioned to himself. He was like, "Oh, what kind of game is this?"
Jack's like, "I like the way this game is going."
Kinda.
He was rooting for Isaac. He's like, "That's right."
No, well, not really.
Well, because he didn't like the girl, right?
Yeah.
So now he's probably happy that.
Well, he wasn't really happy.
He was more curious. He's like, what's going on?
Yeah, so he was like, oh, yeah, what kind of game is this? Because everything's a game to him.
Okay.
Even though he was a little upset, he was still, like, just curious. And he was still, like, a little bit innocent. He was kind of, like, rotted. But still, he had, like, that little ounce of innocence left in him.
So there was still, like, a little hope.
A little bit.
A little bit of hope to bring him back.
Yeah. So, he never thought that his virgin eyes, basically, would see such violence.
He would only hear it.
He would only hear it. And, like, he knew what it was, like, about. But he never thought he would witness it.
Yeah.
So, now Isaac had a firm clutch on the girl's wrist. And with one hand, he tore her panties off with the other. Basically, he
raped her.
Yes, he raped her.
In front of Jack.
In front of Jack. And, of course, the girl tried to fight back, but Isaac was stronger.
Oh, yeah.
And he was able to take advantage of her. And Jack, watching this whole thing, so after a while, the girl was able to escape because she chomped down and basically bit his tongue off. And
she bit Isaac's tongue off.
Yeah, she bit Isaac's tongue off. And for real, but
yeah, she should. Yeah.
So he stood back like in shock. So after Isaac released his new playmate from Jack, what Jack thinks, Jack watched as the woman began to sob, and like warm blood was spilling out of Isaac's mouth. So of course the girl was frightened and she fell off the bed and dropped to the ground and quickly scurried off towards the exit of the room. But Isaac quickly lurched forward and was able to catch his fleeing plaything by the end of her dress. Reaching back, he wielded a lead candlestick.
Lead?
Lead? Oh yeah, lead.
Okay.
A lead candlestick. I'm thinking of the lead, not the lead, the candle holders.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought.
Probably is. It was off his nightstand, so he just reached back and grabbed it, and with all his might, bashed the back of the young girl's head in. Killed
the girl.
Yeah, her head bursted open like watermelon being crushed.
So he must have put a lot of force into it then, because if he bashed her head in like that.
It was just one swing too.
Wow. He must have been a big guy then, huh?
Probably.
Like really built?
Well, I don't know. They didn't really give a description on like Well, Jack gave a description that he was much taller and stuff like that, but like he looked different, like personality wise. But no physical description.
Okay.
So we can assume he's a big guy, or like she's just like a small person, small female.
Yeah.
But yeah, her body like laid there and convulsed for a few seconds before she went completely still. And her blood went everywhere. It even went on Napping Jack's box, like a few droplets. And again, Jack was still watching, and he was enjoying the show actually.
Well, I mean, if he was enjoying it, it's because Isaac liked it.
Yeah, basically, because like I said earlier, his personality reflects on the owners.
Okay.
And even though Isaac abandoned him, he was still his owner. So, Laughing Jack, he finally started smiling again. He felt a smile grow on his face, but it wasn't a good smile. It was kind of like a sadistic, evil smile.
Like a sinister smile?
Yeah. So for the first time in 13 years, his smile began to creep across his face again. And all of a sudden, a chuckle escaped from his cold lips. And then the chuckle soon grew into like a mad fit of like giggling. Yeah, so at this point, Jack was cackling and howling with laughter in his box as he said, "What a wonderful, fascinating game," as he watched the motionless girl's blonde hair flow with red blood. As the adrenaline began to mellow, Isaac realized he had to dispose of the body. He picked up the girl's lifeless corpse and plopped it on the bed. He then left the room, closing the door behind him, unlocking it before leaving the house. He returned almost a full day later and re-entered the room, bringing with him a metal garbage can and his bag of upholstery tools from work.
He's gonna tear her apart.
Basically, he's gonna discard the body in a trash can. So he began to clean up the mess he made.
The crime scene.
Yeah, he began to clean up the walls and the door, the
door handle,
the floor.
Oh.
Everything basically before he dragged the bed with the bloody corpse in the middle of the room. Like he tied her in sheets, I guess. And he put her on the ground and began to work. Like he began to basically dismember her body. While Isaac was working, Jack was again watching this whole ordeal. And Jack watched with a big unfading grin as Isaac played with his new toy. While dismembering her, Isaac began to skin her body, and he was basically planning on turning the skin like into like a leather. I don't know what he was gonna do with it, but he
probably make some furniture.
Probably, because
right?
he built furniture. So he was probably gonna be like, what is it, Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Put the face on his face.
Yeah, basically. But I feel like he's just gonna use it for furniture, maybe. But yet again, there's not a lot of skin on a human to make furniture, like a whole, like, what's a chair.
We could probably make a chair.
I don't think so. If it's all the leather chair.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be wood, and then the only part
that's
that
leather
actually
is like
needs something is the cushion.
I'm thinking of like a like the rocking chairs. Not the rocking chairs, but like the recliners.
Oh, okay. That's a whole recliner.
I'm thinking of a whole couch too. I don't know why it's a chair. Wow. But maybe a lamp. Or a pillow.
Lamp? Why would you need that for a lamp? Oh, for like the outside of the lamp? Like
yeah,
that covers
like the lampshade.
Heat. Oh.
Yeah, that's... Anyways, so he filled up the trash can with bleach and began to place her limbs in there until the meat was stripped from the bone. Isaac began to fish the bones out.
Does bleach do that? Is it that strong?
I'm assuming.
I'm asking you because you know more of this.
I do actually. So
is bleach like your strong acid?
Well, they said bleach here. I know for a fact that bleach is not gonna do that to a human body in less than a day.
Percentages. I know.
I mean, you're right, but it just said bleach, so I'm assuming like the household bleach.
Okay, yeah.
But yet again, back in the 1900s, I mean the 1800s, they didn't really have like just like a bottle of bleach like that.
So you must have purchased it.
Probably. It was probably like a cleaning supply back then.
Okay.
So, and also remember it's fictional, and there's a magical being in this story, Erica.
I was over here thinking like, how is this possible? Wait, I was like, this is not true.
No,
this is lies. Okay. Go ahead.
So he began to fish the bones out of the, like, this soupy corpse juice that he had made, and placed them on like a work table that he had set up. And then once night fell, he went out and took the soupy mixture. He took it out and dumped it in the London sewers, which led to the harbor, like the water. You know where the ships are.
Yeah.
So for the next 3 days, Jack watched in amusement as Isaac crafted the once human anatomy into a grotesque armchair abomination. He used the bones and the human skin.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, the femur was made into the back legs of the chair, while the tibia, with the feet still attached, of course, was made into the front chair legs. So, like, right here, below the knee.
Yeah.
He made it into the chair legs, and the front ones. A wooden frame was also used, but it was used for the base, like the backing of the chair.
Mm-hmm.
However, the rim of the backing was crafted using the spinal cord. The arm bones were used as the arms of the chair, and were fastened in place with some ribs. The now leathery flesh was sewn onto the seat and the backing of the chair, and the golden blonde hair was braided into lining for the base.
Oh my god.
I know.
He really said we're not wasting any of this.
For real.
Well, he did waste the rest of it, but he's not about to waste the bones and the skin.
And, like, the hair.
And the hair.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
Like, some sort of, like, furniture.
That's insane. That's like attachment issues right there. Like, he didn't want to let her go.
Kind of, like, ew.
He didn't want to let her go, so he made
I feel like,
a whole chair.
or
so
maybe
now he's gonna sit on her.
Maybe he's just making some sort of trophy.
Could be, but I mean, why?
Like, you know
why
how,
go
like,
through all that?
some serial killers kept, like, the skulls or, like,
yeah, but see, that's what I was gonna say. Why go through all that when you can just keep like the skull, like you said, or the hand, or
I don't know. Maybe it was like a sense of like ownership. Maybe,
probably.
like, yeah, I don't. But anyways,
You know what would have been more poetic if he would have kept her tongue, because she bit his tongue off.
yeah, I don't know how he's still alive. When he had butt out.
What?
I don't know how he's so she bit his tongue off.
But
how is he still alive?
I don't think you bleed out if you have your tongue cut off.
Well, you do have like a major vein in there.
Do you?
Yeah, that's why some piercing artists, when they pierce your tongue, they have to look underneath to not look at. It's like an artery, basically.
Oh, I okay.
Or maybe she missed it, because everybody's artery in
well,
their
I mean,
tongue
if
is
she
like.
if she bit the whole tongue off.
Well, she didn't bite the whole tongue off. I'm guessing she bit the tip off, or like, not that much. Because he forced his tongue in her mouth, and because of that, she bit it off. In like a way to defend herself.
Okay. Well, this is fiction, so keep going. Sorry, keep going.
So back to the story. On top of the armchair, the skull that once belonged to the girl was now placed on top of the armchair. So Isaac like leaned back. He stepped back and admired his own work.
Like a sick psycho.
Yeah, and like Jack was kind of admiring his work too. He was impressed by his old playmate. And after that night, Isaac never touched another drop of alcohol again, for he now possessed a much more macabre thirst. In the following weeks, Isaac made several improvements to his little workshop of horrors. He removed the mattress from his bed and put a row of thick wooden planks in place. And then he fastened arms and leg restraints to the bottom sides. This means he would be able to entertain his guests for much longer, without them running away. Isaac needed only one final thing before planning another grotesque party. He worked on it for a week straight, hand carving it out of wood, and after a coat of white paint was applied, Isaac's creation was now complete. It was a wooden mask resembling something one would wear at a Venetian masquerade. Like, you know, like the mask parties?
Yeah, like opera.
Yeah, like an opera or like a ball. Like 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
you know?
Yeah, the mask.
Yeah, the mask. Or like... Okay, I'm just gonna stop there. I was gonna say 365 days.
365 days. Like, I honestly, when you said mask, I was thinking of like Kill Bill. You know, like the what's it called? Like the those gang members.
With the Japanese ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean now.
With the Kato mask.
Yeah, with the masks. Yeah, I know what you mean. The Kento.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
I
what
thought
you
of
mean.
those.
No, they're like the masquerade ball ones. Like the ones where just hide your eyes or something.
Oh, just like...
Yeah, but it's a wooden mask, I guess. It had a furrow, brow, line, and a tall, like, nose.
Oh, kind of like the clown?
So I'm assuming... Okay, so never mind. I don't think it's, maybe not the eyes only. Maybe it's just, like, the above the mouth and beyond or something.
Okay.
But it was made to, like, look scary. So it allowed him to strike fear in his beloved guests. So yeah, it is for them to get scared. And it was finally time for Isaac to bring home a new playmate. So the following night, Laughing Jack watched as the masked Isaac stomped up the stairs carrying a large burlap sack with his newest guest inside. He dumped the bag out on his torture bed, or like the bed that's just like wooden planks now, with arm restraints and legs restraints, and began to bound and gag a very frightened young boy. Probably a little boy, 5 or 6 years old.
A child?
It was a child.
Okay, sorry, continue. I thought he was only going after women.
That's what I was surprised about too.
Okay, go ahead.
So, he undid the little boy's bindings and held him down as he restrained his hands and feet to the steel bed frame.
Sorry. I was... okay. It makes much more sense now, because I was like, a little sack? How do you fit a whole woman in a sack?
No, it's a large sack, but it's a burlap sack, you know.
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
I'll have to see what that is.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, I'll ask what that is.
But it's not that big.
I'll have to Google that later. But, okay, it makes sense now that a little child was in there.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry, keep going.
Okay, so the boy was crying, of course, and Isaac began to lay out his tools on, like, his workbench, and Isaac returned to the boy wielding a pair of rusty pliers and wasted no time on sliding the jaw of the pliers under the boy's fingernails and clamping tightly on them. The child's eyes quivered as he began muttering through his gag. He basically began to, like, plea with Isaac. As Isaac, he just ignored him and began to bend the pliers backwards, prying off the fingernails. So he tortures his victims first. He plays with them.
Okay.
Basically. The boy began to scream through his gag as he withered in pain on the wooden boards. His finger began to gush with blood. Isaac then moved on to the boy's other fingers, firmly grasping each nail with the rusty pliers, and once again he jerked the pliers back. But this time the nail only tore off halfway on one finger. The boy yelped in pain as his fingers twitched and shot with blood. Clamping half of the pried nail, Isaac gave it another yank and the nail tore off, but not without taking a good deal of skin tissue with it. Even Isaac was a bit rebuffed by this painful sight. Like, he was kind of like, ugh.
He was like, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, at this point, but he still enjoyed it. So, unlike the spying Laughing Jack, who was cackling with joy, so Isaac was a bit in shock, but Laughing Jack was still enjoying it.
Even if he saw a little kid.
Yep. At this point, he was completely corrupt.
Okay.
Yep. So he was cackling with joy at this disturbing action as he watched from within his old rusty box. Isaac returned once again to the workbench and swapped the pliers for a large iron hammer. He then made his way to the foot of the bed, where with one hand he held down the boy's left leg. He raised the hammer high above his head as the boy cried and pleaded for mercy through his gag. Then with all his might, Isaac slammed down the hammer onto the boy's bare kneecap, shattering the bone into like a gravel substance. Like,
well, yeah, he like,
it was all rocky now.
Well, yeah, he literally hit it, and then that bone just turned.
Well, it's a child too, so the bone's pretty weak.
So it is. Well, Don't children have like more flexible bones than we do?
Yeah, but as they get older, they don't grow that. Or they lose the flexibility, but they're still like more.
But a 5-year-old still has a lot of flexibility though.
I don't know. He must have had like a lot of strength. Maybe.
Well, yeah. When he swung down, didn't.
Maybe it's the adrenaline from the excitement.
You think so?
Because adrenaline, if you're like, let's say you're being chased by a serial killer, okay? Your body shoots itself with adrenaline. It's kind of like its last push to give it yourself all your might. So you do get stronger. You do get a bit faster. So yeah.
I get that. Because when I started going to the gym,
What?
I was so nervous to go.
Yeah.
I was on the treadmill for 45 minutes and I kept running and I was so scared. I was so anxious. I was like, what am I going to do next? And yeah, because for me, it was like, what am I going to do when I get out of the treadmill?
Mm-hmm. No, you know everything. Huh?
But now, like, I don't.
You're
like
a pro.
But now, I cannot, like, last that long on the treadmill anymore. So it was just that one day because I was so scared and
you were so scared that you just stayed on there because you didn't know what to do.
I stayed on there. I didn't know what to do. Yes, that was like my comfort zone. Okay, continue.
Okay, so the child convulsed, of course, and shrilled and muffled with pain. But as he like moved around and screamed, the gag kind of like tightened around his mouth. So it was getting a little bit harder for him to scream or like make noise. So that was good for Isaac, I guess. So again, he went back to the workbench and equipped himself with a long, sharp knife. And without delay, he began carving the words "useless worm" into the child's chest.
So what did his mom call him that or say that?
A useless worm, yeah.
Right. So he's kind of just like.
He's kind of like projecting.
Yeah.
A little bit, but his mom didn't do this, but still.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
So he is a traumatized. Child or
basically,
man-child.
Yeah. So when he finished, the boy was barely conscious, of course. He was like on the verge of like passing out, maybe due to his body being in shock. So before the boy was like passed out, he whispered in his ear that this is what happens to rotten children who make nasty faces at people.
Did his mom like say that to him, or would he make faces at his mom? Or you know what? Never mind. I got it. So the little boy must have made a face at Isaac. Probably. And then Isaac probably got mad and he was like, oh, you're going to be my next victim.
Yeah. So, okay, so, not gonna lie, the rest of this is kind of gruesome, so I don't know if you want me to continue reading it or just get to the next part.
Just get to the next part.
Yeah, because this involves a child, and I even though I don't like children, I do feel bad. I don't, especially since it's a little kid. I don't like, I felt bad when I was explaining the woman. The first victim.
Yeah, I kind of felt something too. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is kind of crazy for it being a fiction story.
Yeah,
a lot of thought was put into it.
Okay, so let me just skip ahead. So from across the room, laughing, Jack gleefully observed the grand finale. So when he killed off the little boy, finally, like, not finally, but like, well, yeah, finally relieving him from his torture. But still, he got killed and he goes mutilated. Oh, that makes me so sad.
But yeah.
Oh, okay, so he observed, like, he was so happy and excited for some reason, and he was livid, but not he was, like, lively. He was lively again, but not in a good way. He was now evil. So now Isaac's next victim was a blind old woman who he had invited over for some tea. It took her almost 5 minutes to realize the chair she was sitting on was crafted using human remains. Another 6 minutes to find the stairs, only to topple down, flailing and screaming like a loon.
Wait, what? He invited an old lady over for tea?
She was blind, too.
A blind old lady for tea?
Yep.
Was she a neighbor, or what?
I am assuming, because most of his victims are from neighboring places. Like, local places, like he's near, like, a bar.
Okay.
Or something. So, back then, in the 1800s, there wasn't cars, so I'm pretty sure like it was walking distance, I guess.
Yeah.
So he had to walk.
So he had already planned to like kill her because why else would you bring someone over to your workplace?
The old lady?
Yeah.
Well, it's his parents' house. Remember, he inherited it, but then he started like living there and just started bringing over like guests.
Just cause
he transformed his old childhood bedroom into a torture chamber, basically.
Okay.
That's why Jack is there just watching. He's been untouched. His box has been untouched this whole time.
Okay.
So, Yeah, after that, Isaac decided to end the cruel joke with a simple ice pick through the eye socket. Because the lady was, well, she's blind, and she's like freaking out on the floor because she fell from the stairs that's leading up to the room, the attic. And so Isaac just walked over and just like killed her quickly.
Okay.
And after that, he brought over a little girl whom he force-fed glass.
So he is crazy. Oh my gosh, he's so bad.
He was so I guess his victim's age didn't matter, as long as he gets to torture something.
He was rated E for everyone.
Yeah, his hands were rated E for everyone.
His hands were rated E for everyone.
Stop.
He's like,
we shouldn't joke about that.
Okay, this is fake, right?
Yes, but it's still sad. It still happened.
It makes me feel a little better. That's fake, but
okay.
It still happened. Where? In someone's imagination?
No, I'm saying it could still happen.
Oh, yeah, it could. You're right. It still could happen. Somebody could be that crazy and commit all those torturous acts.
Yeah.
But okay, continue.
So he force-fed her glass and used her stomach as like a punching bag. I'm like mumbling this now because I feel so. I feel gross. So as the weeks went by, more and more unlucky souls met their end in Isaac's attic. And as the more mad Isaac's personality grew, or like the more sinister and twisted, so did Laughing Jack's personality.
Okay. So I feel like this is mostly because I was expecting Laughing Jack to be like the killer of all this, but it wasn't him. It was Isaac. Cause
we'll get to that in a minute.
He's gonna let Laughing Jack out.
Well, we're getting there.
I don't know. After 13 years being.
Well, I'm the one who knows the story, not you, and I'm telling you to wait and find out. Dang! How dare you doubt me?
I don't know. It's because you're telling your story. And as you tell your story, I'm trying to like, decipher what's going on. I'm like, okay. I guess.
I'm here ruining everything for you.
Okay.
Huh? Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, just Jack continued to rot in there, basically, in his box, untouched, until one very cold December night. The rusty nails that were holding up the shelf of the forgotten knickknacks, where he was basically at, it toppled over. It finally gave out and plummeted the box that held Jack to the ground. And Isaac heard this. He heard like a loud thud. So he came running upstairs. And he walked across the blood-stained wood floor of the attic over towards the fallen shelf. Isaac brushed aside some of the trinkets and broke in the crash. When he finally came across the Jack-in-the-Box from his childhood, Isaac barely recognized the old tattered box as he picked it off and blew off some of the dust. Then, for whatever nostalgic reason, he decided to grasp the box's rusty clank and began twining it. A horrible off-key Pop Goes the Weasel song clanked along with the turning, like the sound of like of it clinking.
The crank.
Yeah. And then finally, the last verse of Pop Goes the Weasel like passed by, and the top of the box swung open, but nothing happened. It was empty. So
he was playing hard to get. He was saying he
was hiding.
Left me for 13 years. You can wait 5 minutes.
Basically.
Okay, go ahead.
So Isaac, he was kind of disappointed. He expected much more, but then he tossed the old box in a garbage bag. Not a garbage bag, like a trash. I don't know what they had, but it just said garbage. He tossed it.
They have rubbish.
Oh, you're
because
right.
They're British.
The rubbish can.
Okay, go.
Okay, sorry. Oh my god, I feel bad. So yeah, he tossed it in the garbage with the other broken knickknacks that he was collecting off the floor. After the mess was cleaned up, like he went to open the door to go back downstairs, but it was stuck. The door like locked.
Jack's Jack's coming. Okay, go.
So Isaac pulled, but the door wouldn't budge. And then he heard some horrible raspy voice call out from behind him. It's basically
Isaac.
It was Isaac.
Oh, I was thinking Batman.
No, it was like
I was thinking like
Batman
raspy, going Isaac.
No, it's like a long raspy dragged out version of his name.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it, but
that kind of sounded like.
I was gonna read it out loud.
Going.
No,
Keep going.
But yeah, so Isaac's like blood ran cold, as he felt the hairs on the back of his neck stand up straight as he slowly turned around. All the way across the room by the garbage can stood the nightmarish laughing Jack. He was now completely monochrome. His mangled black hair hung down in twisted locks. Sharp, jagged teeth decorated his twisted grin, and his arms hung down like a rag doll with his grotesquely long fingers nearly scraping the floor.
Oh, so now he's
like this demonic entity.
Okay, yeah. Oh, damn, I would be scared too, freaking Isaac. Isaac better run.
And he was... So, now I can give, like, clear description, because it was mentioned from when I was doing my research, and from memory. But I remember, Jack is now, like, much tall... Well, not much taller. He's, like, the same height, but he was pretty tall, just to begin with. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying... He's kind of like a rag doll. He's built like a rag doll. His body is like made of fabric, and instead of having like organs, he's just filled with like what's called stuffing.
Okay.
And
and magic.
Demonic magic. Now.
Okay.
And his clothing wasn't really clothing. It was attached to his skin. So it's kind of like a regular doll.
I figured and I imagined it's like one of like the Raggedy Ann dolls.
Yeah,
okay,
technically. Also, I don't know why this is important, but like he basically has no gender. Technically has no gender because he has no genitalia either.
Well, he's Jack.
Yeah. So
but I'm assuming because his name is Jack and we've been referring to him as a he.
Yeah,
he'd rather go by a he.
He's a doll. Technically, he has no genitalia, so he's not a person.
Well,
that's
technically, he's a not so imaginary being.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're gonna get apart.
Okay, go ahead.
So Isaac was now scared. He told Jack that he was basically saying like, "I thought you were imaginary. I thought you weren't real," because he doesn't really remember his childhood well. I'm assuming, because who remembers when they were 8?
Also, I'm assuming with all the trauma he had, he probably decided to block all of that after he went to boarding school.
Probably.
And also, if it was like let's say Catholic boarding school or something, then they must have like beat that out of him. Mm-hmm. If it was that type of boarding school, which I'm assuming it is because it was in the 1800s, so back then, I think they would hit kids, right?
I'm assuming, yeah. They would beat the children.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see. Yeah, well, I mean, he probably just blocked it out, so he was probably just thinking, oh, it was probably like... was imaginary. He didn't really think he was actually real. But seeing the box there, wouldn't you think that, oh, I see the box, you know?
I mean, yeah, but like, what if he just, from his memory, he just thought it was just like a regular wind-up Jack in the Box?
Okay.
So he didn't touch it until that day it fell on the ground. But yeah, after saying that, Jack kind of like looked at him in like sadistic way and like just let out a cackle. And he said, "I'm quite real. In fact, I've been waiting such a long time for this day to finally come when I can play with my best friend for life one last time."
He's gonna torture him like Isaac tortured everybody else. Because Jack would see the way Isaac would play with all his toys, right?
Yeah, his victims.
So then he's like, I like that game. That game sounds really fun. I want to play with Isaac like that. Mm-hmm. Sorry, continue. I probably just gave it all away, but it's my head is going. My mind is
How
going.
Dare you?
Go.
No, but it's okay.
Sorry, continue. Go.
Before Isaac could reply to that, Jack reached his long arms across the room. Guessing he can grow them now. And he wrapped them around Isaac's legs. So he began to pull him closer. Like he began to drag him from the floor.
Oh, okay. He knocked him down and dragged him.
Yeah, he wrapped his arms around Isaac's legs and like knocked him down and began to drag him towards him. And while dragging him close and onto his own torture bed, Isaac tried to escape or like tried to stop by scraping his fingernails. Like he dug his fingernails into like his own the blood-stained wood. But still, Jack was stronger, and he swiftly grabbed Isaac and restrained him to the wooden torture bed. So now it was Isaac's turn, basically.
It was Jack's turn to play.
It was Isaac's turn to get tortured.
And
But Jack's turn to play after a long time without playing with his best friend.
Okay.
So after restraining him, Jack would go back and forth from the workbench that he had, that Isaac had, filled with tools. Yes. So he went back and grabbed a 3-inch iron nail and pressed the nail straight into Isaac's hand and feet.
Crucified him.
He crucified him, yes, basically to the wooden torture chamber.
As he should, yes.
Yeah.
Don't
say that.
What?
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you said you're gonna I thought you said you're gonna like Jack.
No, we like redemption because kind of in a way he is doing this for all the times that Isaac has tortured and killed somebody.
Not
so it's
really.
kind of like a payback. Well, I mean,
he's doing it for himself.
He did because, well, I mean, he saw everything happened.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to do this now, but in a sixth sense, it's kind of like justice for the other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
Kinda, but still.
But he's still pretty evil because he looks pretty evil, and he thinks evilly now.
Yeah.
And he is evil now. He's an evil being now.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, you're right. We would get bodied.
Yes, we would.
A flawless victory.
More than flawless. He'd get like those mystery endings.
Yeah.
He'd unlock some sort of other fatality.
He's like a hidden character we would not want.
Yeah.
To play.
Oh my god.
Okay, go ahead.
So Isaac was now like screaming in pain and started like cursing at the clown, his captor. And all Laughing Jack did was just chuckle as he...
So he went hee hee.
Yeah.
Hee hee hee.
Yeah. Or just whatever it is. He was laughing. And because he found this all amusing as he forcefully held Isaac's head into place now. So after crucifying him, he held his head into place. And he began to state, if you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all. And with that... Sorry.
Would his mom say that or what? Like, where did he get that from? Did he hear Isaac say that before? Maybe, probably.
Maybe, or just him saying that.
Okay.
I don't think you have to look too deep into that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
sorry. Well, girl, my head's spinning and thinking. You know.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so, Jack reached his long, crooked fingers into Isaac's mouth and firmly grasped the remaining of his tongue.
I was just about to say, like, wait.
And
how is he saying all this if he has no tongue?
He probably...
But you said he has partial tongue, or most of the tongue. Okay, continue.
So he grabbed the rest of his tongue and stretched it out as far as he could before the clown reached back and grabbed a long, sharp knife from the table and slowly began to cut through the meat of Isaac's tongue. Once lobbed off, Isaac's mouth began to overflow with blood. Jack responded by shoving a small cylinder-shaped metal tube through Isaac's throat to act as a temporary breathing tube. Basically, he stabbed it through his throat.
What?
Because Isaac was choking on blood, I assume then.
Okay.
And he still wants his victim to be alive for a little bit for torture.
He wasn't done playing with him.
He wasn't done. Not yet.
He's like, after 13 plus years, you're not about to take this for a moment from me. Go, keep going.
So at this point, Isaac was already in a great amount of pain. And he had his eyes clenched shut to avoid seeing the sickening performance of his old best friend.
If that was a clown, I would have slit his eyes.
Oh my god.
You're about to watch everything.
Cut off his eyelids?
Yeah.
You mean? Yeah, probably. Oh my god.
Okay, continue. Sorry. I'm not trying to add to this, but...
You're just... No, it's good. I like this. I like this.
It's like, girl, it's like...
Yeah,
there's no way you're gonna be out here murdering, killing everybody. And when it's your turn, you're gonna be a baby and not look.
You're gonna be a pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say the words for you.
Go ahead. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so Jack saw this and, he said, come on, it's no fun if you don't watch. So technically what you were saying. So, but Jack said this in like a playful tone, which like made Isaac uneasy. So he kept his eyes shut. Before Jack basically said, suit yourself, then forcibly held open one of Isaac's eyes.
Oh.
He reached back again with his long arms. I'm guessing like the distance doesn't matter.
Wait, because you said he's magical, so he can stretch out all his limbs as long as he wants.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Anyways, he reached back and grabbed a long, pointing fishing hook from the workbench. The J ones.
Yeah.
And he hooked his top eyelid with the hook, and he...
Give him a piercing.
Basically, he like... The hook is, like... It's holding back his eye open. So what you said, like you would do, but instead of like slicing his eyelids off, he just took it back.
He gave him a piercing. It was like, here, hold this for me real quick.
Stop. That's kind of funny.
And like had it open.
Okay, continue. The hook was permanently pinning his eye open now, and then he took out a second hook, and he pushed it through the bottom eyelid this time, and he pinned it back to. Oh, okay. Now, I was trying to imagine it because I didn't know. It's kind of weird. Okay. But from what I think is he probably like stretched it down and then like hooked it to his cheek.
Okay.
And then when it came to like top eyelid, he probably hooked it to like his eyebrow or like his forehead.
Okay. So that way they're forcefully open.
Yeah.
Just one eye only?
Well, I'm assuming he's going to the other one. Yeah, Jack repeated the process to the other eye.
Okay.
And before long, a series of sharp metal hooks made sure Isaac's eyes didn't retract into place or tried to shut. So Laughing Jack then took the same knife he had used to lob off Isaac's tongue or cut off and began to focus on removing Isaac's lips. Oh my god. So Jack carefully sliced the 2 strips of flesh off, and now his whole like mouth, the inside of his mouth was visible now, just like his teeth. Like his gums,
yeah. Showing.
Yeah.
So it's like that one, like the one guy from Hellraiser. You know, the guy that like chatters. I was gonna say clicking. Yeah, the
Cenobites.
Cenobite that clicks.
Chattering clicks that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Basically.
Okay, that's what I think. Okay, keep going.
So, basically, just causing his teeth and gums to be completely exposed at this point. So Jack was now looking at him. And, like, as a little joke, I guess, he was like, oh, you haven't been flossing regularly, have you?
Stop, because stop. This is not funny, but stop.
It is kind of funny.
You were, because I immediately thought back to where I was, sorry, this is, like, totally random, but when I was getting my braces removed, the girl that was removing my braces, she was like, oh, my gosh, she's like, your teeth are so nice. Like, she said, your teeth are so nice. They don't have a stain on them or anything. No coffee stains, nothing. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm over here, blushing. Like, thank you. Like,
you're like, are we about to kiss right now?
No. I was like, like, oh, well, thank you. Like, I try hard. I clean all my teeth, regularly.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
you're just flattered.
Yeah, I was flattered. She hands me the mirror, right? When I look at my teeth, oh my god. I think she must have read my face. My face was the bell. They were yellow. I was like, girl, why are you telling me my teeth are pretty with no stains when my teeth are yellow? And she looked at me. She's like, it's okay. You can always bleach your teeth. I was like,
give me a minute. I need to back away from the microphone.
So she legit. She humbled me. I was over here thinking I had the prettiest smile. She humbled me after that. I was like, okay.
That's how people keep people in relationships.
So basically, Jack really humbled Isaac. Jack was
like torturing him wasn't enough.
Yeah. So he said, you really thought you were so hot getting all these girls in the bar,
and little girls and little boys,
and now look at you, teeth all crusty. I see that popcorn from last week. Basically what he said. So, okay, Angie, continue.
It was pretty funny. Okay.
Continue, yeah.
Okay. So, Jack, of course, like, laughed to himself. He was like, hee hee. It was kind of funny, okay? It was pretty funny. He for me laughing at his own jokes. Oh my god. Okay, so, again, Jack reached back and grabbed a hammer. And before that, Isaac, like, attempted to mutter some kind of, like, beg for mercy. But Jack completely ignored it. and well, instead of like actual words, it was like a gurgled moan because he was choking on his own blood. But yeah, anyways, Jack raised the hammer into the air, and with a twisted grin, he slammed it down, giving off a loud crack as the iron hammer shattered Isaac's teeth.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Ow. That made my teeth stink.
that made you hurt?
My teeth hurt, yeah, for some reason.
You know, if I were Jack, I would have slammed that hammer down next to him on the bench, you know, or on the wooden frame. Scare him a little and then go for his teeth.
Erica, what? Why are you explaining to me your methods?
Well, it's because, you know, I'm just saying this is what I would do.
Erica, digital footprint.
Angie, just keep going.
Okay.
Keep going, you know?
So, after that, Jack dropped the hammer and began to, like, just howl in laughter, basically. He just broke out in, like, a really, like, loud, sadistic laugh. He was enjoying this. Ooh. And then, after that, while laughing, he, like, tore off Isaac's shirt and, like, reached back and got, like, the sharpest knife he could find. And he cut a straight line down to Isaac's chest all the way to, like, his stomach, or, like, past his stomach, or, like, down to the belly button, basically. Mm-hmm. Ooh. I'm reading back on this, and I was... Oh,
okay. Keep going, Angie.
Okay, so, again, Isaac, like, groaned in pain as Jack basically began to, like, perform a live autopsy on him. That's all I'm gonna say. Or explain it as.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, autopsy is when you open a person up, a dead person.
Yeah.
And look inside their organs and to check to see, like, the cause of death.
Yeah.
But Jack was just doing this while Isaac was alive. And he wasn't checking any organs. He was just, like, rummaging around, I guess.
So what's in here?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Oh. And first... Yeah, so Jack began to pull out Isaac's, like, internal organs. He pulled out Isaac's intestines like how a magician will pull out series of colorful cloths from his pocket.
Angie.
I'm sorry.
So he legit just kept pulling.
He kept on pulling and pulling, and he was like, wow, the whole time. And Isaac was alive. Imagine getting your innards pulled out of you. Alive.
It's pretty awful. I'm assuming it must have hurt. So.
I think he deserves it, though.
Well, I mean, everything he did go through. Everything he put people through.
Yeah.
He did have an awful childhood, but just because of that doesn't mean that you get to be an awful person. Mm-hmm. And sadly, that's how it is.
Sadly.
In most cases, people do become awful because they were exposed to awful. Mm-hmm. And they have to continue that cycle.
And, so basically Jack was pulling out his organs and just playing with them. And that's all I'm going to say, because the rest is pretty gruesome to go into full detail.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, so he just started playing around, and finally, Jack noticed that Isaac was, like, beginning to drift, like, in and out of consciousness. Like, he was almost dying now. And he asked, like, oh, are you feeling tired already? Like, why? We're nearly at the grand finale. So, Jack pulled out a needle. It was a long needle, but it was, like, basically a shot of adrenaline to keep him alive more.
Okay. He manifested that from thin air, right?
Probably. It says here that he pulled it out from his sleeve.
Okay.
So he just, like...
magic trick.
Yeah.
Within the magic trick.
Whoop. You're alive again.
Okay, go ahead.
So, he was like, this is supposed to, like, perk you up. So, he slammed the needle into Isaac's retina and injected it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, but his heart is down here, though.
It's the 1800s.
How is that gonna wake up? In the 1800s, people were built differently, and
was there adrenaline rush shots there, or do you think since he's like such a weird entity that he can just manifest anything he wants?
I don't know. I'm not gonna answer that because I do not know. Mm-hmm. Continue.
Okay,
this is fiction. Continue.
You're right. It is. So, anyways, he wiggled the needle in, and like, of course, Isaac was like struggling, and of course, it's painful. You're getting something shoved into your eye. Mm-hmm. A whole long needle. So anyways, Jack yanked the needle out, right? And so Isaac's eye was like, now. It's kind of like playback to the cat. his eye was not out of his socket, just hanging.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, it just dangled, and then Jack looked down and smirked and was like, well, now that I have your full attention, because I guess the adrenaline rush worked even though it didn't touch his heart.
Okay. Yes, continue.
So yet again, he started playing with his organs and, like, just started digging around his body, I guess. And within seconds after, like, playing around and just, like, I guess just maneuvering his hands, a bunch of cockroaches started to climb out of his stomach and his chest cavity.
That's because the clown...
He manifested it in there.
Yeah, okay.
So he just, I guess, he put his hand in there and just, I guess, he just made it appear.
Okay.
But he was still playing in there. So yeah, anyways, his body began to, like, kind of overfill. So, like, any part that wasn't cut open, I guess, began to, like, bloat with the cockroaches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Isaac again began to, like, wither around, because I'm pretty sure that doesn't feel nice. And they began to, like, come out of his mouth too. So I'm assuming that they're just trying to come out at anywhere.
Yeah.
They're trying to escape, like anything would try to escape from. And so yet again, Isaac was inches away from death when his captor kneeled beside him and spoke into his ear. It's been a blast, kiddo. But it looks like our time together is about up. No need for tears, though, because I plan to spread my friendship to all the lonely kids of the world. And with that said, Laughing Jack reached into Isaac's chest and yanked his heart out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So as Isaac bled on the wooden bed, he saw his mother, father, and the boarding school and his victims. And that was with his one last breath. Like, it replayed in his memory. And before he stopped breathing and just finally, like, died.
Okay.
So
an interesting fact about that what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Replaying memories. I saw through a very credible source.
Me too. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Very credible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that his brain was just, he was freaking out and his brain was just playing back, trying to get himself out of his situation. His brain was just going through all his memories, trying to see if he had encountered a situation like that before.
Mm-hmm.
So he can get out of it. But since he can't, then that's what the TikTok had said, that supposedly that's what happens. Your brain goes through, but you see it like if it was playing back all your memories. When in reality, it's just looking to see if it can find a situation similar to get you out of the situation that you're in now. So it's trying to basically get you out of dying.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, because it doesn't find anything.
Have you heard of the theory that since it's replaying back every memory, that you don't know if you're actually dead right now? What if you're replaying a memory?
That would suck.
That would suck. I would cry myself to sleep.
Do you not do that now?
Shut up. don't say that.
Okay.
Not right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyways.
Keep going.
So, finally, after a while, Jack kind of disappeared. Because he was done there.
Okay.
And so
he was freed.
Mm-hmm.
Freed in a way because he wasn't tied down there anymore, because now he did not need Isaac to relieve him, and also his box was broken.
Let me explain more.
Okay.
But, like, hold up. Like, first, the police, like, were called by the neighbors, I guess. Or, like...
Okay.
The police just came, and they found Isaac now rotten.
Well, if he was rotten, he's probably... Like,
he was decomposed, yeah, probably.
So it probably smelled really bad, so
yeah,
I'm pretty sure neighbors called.
They found his maggot-infested corpse weeks later on Christmas Eve. And even though his face was bashed in, he looked almost happy. Like, I think from reliving his memories.
Oh, okay.
Like with Jack.
Or maybe because he didn't have lips.
No problem. But anyways, we're technically done with the story, but I have, like, more information about Jack that I later learned. So, afterwards, Jack now began to prey on lonely children that were, like, considered... Well, Isaac was kind of... You know how Isaac was lonely and he was being abused?
Yeah.
Those were like his next victims, like children that were lonely, that were abused, and basically had nobody to go to.
That was like his ideal pick, right? Because Isaac was like that, so he really loved Isaac, so he's like, I'm gonna go with Isaac.
Yeah, technically.
And his like lookalikes. So those kids that were lonely like Isaac.
Yeah, because they're also easy targets. But anyways, true. He would like he did what he did with Isaac, but, and by that I mean this time he's pretending. He would pretend to be like their imaginary friend to gain their trust and then end up killing them. But the thing is, like, he would trap their souls in like this realm that's described as an abandoned fairground with the horrible off tune Pop Goes the Weasel music playing forever. So the souls are just trapped there.
So is Isaac's soul trapped there?
I'm assuming, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and some more information about him is that he has the power to control things. So telekinesis, basically. And he is able to give you nightmares, create like horrible hallucinations, and mostly that's how he manipulates parents.
Oh, he makes them think things, or
yeah, like let's say he was caught or something, like by accident or something.
Oh, and then he gives them like
he can make them hallucinate,
so they think it was part of the hallucination.
Yeah. Or just like make them have like really bad nightmares, and then just like their kid end up dying. But yeah, technically it for Laughing Jack. So can I have your opinion on the story?
That was scary.
That was a roller coaster.
I mean, it was a lot. It was really bad and gruesome.
I know I left out a lot of details actually, but they were too gruesome to mention.
Girl, little 10-year-old Angie was reading all this?
I was reading this, girl, and you wonder why I was so traumatized?
You traumatized yourself.
I did, but like it was kind of funny.
Not funny.
It's funny now.
Okay.
But yeah.
Dang.
I know.
Well, that seems awful because the story is just awful. like I mean, it is an awful creepypasta.
It's awful, but it's so like it's well written, not by me because I wrote this down.
Really,
but it's
well written.
It's so well, like if you read it from the person, it will, like the detail is so great.
That is an incredible backstory.
That is
Laughing Jack.
It is
because that was just his backstory and how he came to be.
Yeah.
And then we still haven't even heard like of everything that he's done with all the kids that have fallen victim to him.
And then like I find it so like cool that people or like fans that found this creepypasta that are like equally as talented as the author begin to write their own stories and stuff like that.
With the
yes, like they just like add on.
Okay.
Like they make like new like characters and like
they
new
give
victims.
Him more and more victims.
Yeah,
okay.
Basically, like they make him continue living on.
Okay. Wow. Okay. No, yeah, that's scary though.
That's pretty scary.
That's scary. See, when you were telling your whole story, in the beginning I thought that the real villain was Isaac.
Yep.
Because he grew up in a bad place.
Mhm.
Parents didn't love him. Seemed like his parents didn't love him. His dad was a drunk and always beat up his mom. His mom probably held some ill feelings towards Isaac because Isaac probably looked like his dad because that's his dad. Mm-hmm. And he was probably a creation of maybe a rape that the dad had done on the mom. So in the first place, she probably didn't even want him. Mm-hmm. And then she probably also had some unresolved like postpartum depression after having the kid and having like been like beaten and stuff. Mm-hmm. So she would take all her anger on poor Isaac, and Isaac was little. He didn't have no idea what was going on. Mm-hmm. And then his innocence was ripped away from him, basically. And he was sent off to a boarding school after he killed the cat, because he just wanted to play. Yeah. But he killed the cat. And he left poor Jack. He neglected poor Jack, basically the same.
Jack was created to like protect him.
Created to protect him, but he couldn't when he was so far away. Mm-hmm. And then we came back. He came back a different person, and he started torturing everybody, all his victims that he had, and then he basically exposed Jack to that, and then Jack kind of went with that. Mm-hmm. And he created that because that was a reflection of Jack was a reflection of Isaac, So it kind of like, in a way, in a sense, Isaac's still living within Jack,
Jack's realm.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think of, when I try to imagine the realm, you remember when I made you watch Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
You know, when, what's her name? Forgot her name. You know, the little girl when she's all a teenager now?
Yeah.
When her and that demon, or her demon self, meet in
Silent Hill.
In Silent Hill, but like this time the scenery is fairground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I imagine.
Okay. Well, this is a scary story, Angie. Very interesting story. I did like it. I did not enjoy the bad parts.
Yep, I'm sorry.
But I did enjoy the whole story, the whole concept of it.
You guys may not have heard it, but Erica was... I'm pretty sure you read some of it.
No, I haven't.
No?
No, this is the first time I ever hear this.
No, like I made you read some from my phone.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, really?
You didn't let me read
What
anything?
the heck? What was I thinking of then?
Like,
I was reading. Never mind. Okay.
Angie, your confusion.
This story made me... Oh. I am. But yeah. Glad you liked it. Glad that you liked the story that... Sad. It's weird to say that this story didn't traumatize me that much, though.
As a kid?
As a kid.
And
Maybe because I didn't really understand. Now that I read back at it, maybe because I didn't. Okay, because of the photos, I feel like the photos traumatized me even more. Because there's
photos.
Because you know how like the last episode of Smile Dog, people like made photos.
Yeah.
Of what they depicted the creature to be. People did the same thing for Jack, and all I see is this emo clown.
Emo clown.
With the cone nose. Just smiling. I'll show you a picture right now, but like in a bit. But for me, it was just the images.
Okay.
Visuals.
Visuals that made it not that scary?
No, visuals made it more scary.
More scarier? Okay, yes. I will need to see this after this.
Alright.
So I really enjoyed it. I really hope everybody else listening out there just enjoyed it as well. So I guess that's it. I just wanted to appreciate for those of you listening and hope that you enjoyed the creepypasta. I know I did. Please go check out our Instagram, Festered Thoughts, and our Twitter, Festered Thoughts.
Yes, but the Festered Thoughts didn't really fit. They exceeded the word limit, so it's missing an E at the end of Festered before the D. So
we'll probably post.
It's just Festered Thoughts. Yeah. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So make sure you follow the podcast as well, and we will be back next week with a new episode and a new story that Angie has for us. That's it for today. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.